Okay, shall we do a quick review on angels? What angel, because once again, what angels are. The place that angels play in our life. Have a little quick review on that, shall we? Okay, everyone, what are angels? What's the difference? Because this is quite important. What's the difference between angels and guides?
I heard it. I don't know if it's right.
Oh, can we have that on for them?
Angels are it's a type of nature spirit. Is that right?
No.
A higher level?
No,
no, I mean, I didn't think it was right, but...
Well, in a way, you could put them on the same spectrum because they're energetic beings who've possibly considered not to have had a human life, but they're quite different on another level. Yes.
No, I was just about to say that angels, guides have been on Earth, haven't they, before?
Yes.
And angels, apart from a couple, have not been human beings.
Yes.
And angels are light beings.
Yes. That's it. And who did? Yep, that's it. And who did? So God made angels first to see his. This is the mythology of angels. God made angels first to see his own perfection. So kind of the closer to Creator is angels, of which I think the closest, the lightest of them is Uriel. But up there of the archangels quite close we have Gabriel, which we're doing today. And I have sheets of paper on the angels, but what is the purpose of the angels? Why do we have the angels? What do we know about the angels?
Messengers?
Messengers.
Doesn't the word mean messenger?
Yeah, messenger of God. And Gabriel is?
Angel of communication.
Yeah, but Gabriel's actually kind of known as the main messenger. Has been the main messenger for humankind historically.
Did he not come to, is it Mother Mary?
Yeah, we're going to have a quick look at the history of all. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's fine. Shall we have a quick look at it now? What do you know about the history of Gabriel?
Is he? He's mentioned in the Quran, isn't he?
He dictated the Quran. That's possibly he's supposed to have dictated the Quran. I'm not sure if yeah, he's supposed to have dictated the actual Quran. Gabriel.
He's a biblical messenger, isn't
Yeah, he's a biblical messenger. So he said about the birth of Christ. What other birth?
John the Baptist, was it?
Yeah, John the Baptist.
I can't remember.
He had something to do with Daniel. He did the books to do with Daniel, the book of Daniel. He what is it? I've got something written down. He gave the information to do with the book of Daniel. So he dictated a lot of that, the information that has come out for all of that. Do any of you do the book? So none of you do a lot of that. So he's also has a lot to do with children, because he's kind of said so much a lot to do with giving a lot of the information to do with all these births. He, as well as communication and creativity. So we're not covering it in this workshop, but he is actually well known in relation to children, Gabriel. So if anybody knows anyone who wants to get pregnant or is having trouble with adoptions or IVF or anything to do with children on any level, Gabriel is the person who you would call upon. So it's another kind of like, so Gabriel has kind of quite a lot of streams or different kind of areas, if you did a mind map, to do with.
Wasn't he supposed to have connected with Francis of Assisi as well?
Possibly, yes. I mean, he's connected with a lot. I mean, he's the main messenger. He's the main person there's more references to Gabriel than to anybody else, I think, in the religious texts.
Yeah.
And he's mentioned in all of the main religious texts. I mean, come on. How big can you book? Yeah, he's in the Old Testament. Yeah, the book of Daniel, that's the Old Testament, isn't it? If you've dictated the Quran, that's can't get much bigger than that, really. Do you know what I mean?
It's like just in his spare time,
yeah, do you know what I mean? I mean, you can't really get much bigger than that if you wanted to, really, can you? Wait a minute, I'm just looking for. Here we are. Where does it say? Yeah, dictated the Quran to Muhammad, the Quran is known as the Spirit of Truth, gave explanations of Daniel's visions in the book of Daniel. Told Elizabeth, Mary's cousins, of birth of John the Baptist. And he is the most frequent angelic visitor to Earth, basically. And he's the one who, what's he known for?
Trumpet.
The trumpet, yeah.
As that like form of an announcement, isn't it?
Yeah.
It symbolises this and an announcement.
Yeah. So, but it's about redemption and joy, isn't it?
What is redemption?
Redemption is about that there's always kind of this hope of, how would you all describe it?
Forgiveness?
Forgiveness, yeah. That there's always kind of forgiveness. That there's, that in the end, it's love kind of, basically it's we are love.
Yeah.
You know me on this thing.
Yeah.
You know, we are love, and that love wins out in the end, and that there is forgiveness.
Mm.
And that, you know, if we have that understanding, that we can all kind of come home in the end.
Yes.
And that it does exist. And I think Gabriel is kind of the one who heralds this in a way, but does so with joy.
Mm.
Kind of the bringer of truth, but through joy. Very much about joy.
Because many people sometimes are raised with the mental conditioning of being fearful of God, or going home, or if they've done things that maybe they regret later on, or
Yes, I think very few of us do things we don't regret at one stage or another. It's called, wait a minute, you're tucked away there, aren't you? I'll come out of it. I think it's called being human, isn't it? It's quite hard not to, at some stages or other, to do things or to have done things. Don't you think?
That's life, though, isn't it?
Mm.
or yet to do things, innit?
Well, you're planning them, are you?
Got one to-do list, isn't it?
Things I will regret.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't plan them. Okay, so we're doing quite well. I think this is quite good. Okay, so shall we have a look, since we're on the thing of how can Gabriel help us? And then we're going to go straight into all the meditations and the practical side of the workshop. So what are the different... So we've looked at the thing to do with the, the different aspects to do with children, and there's a whole side to Gabriel and children, and if anyone is having trouble to do with children, really get them to communicate with Gabriel. But none of you are here to do with that, because, and inner child work. Well, we're not doing any of that here today, are we? No. So that's not why any of you are here, is it? So,
Well, I didn't know about that actually. Yeah, this sounds something that I'll be interested in.
what's that?
I mean, getting in touch with my inner child. The one
Yes.
who needs to play more. And, you know,
Yes.
I think a lot of us went through childhood too quickly,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. It is. I mean, well, we can have a look, and we could do some in a child if people were interested. I mean, I'm quite flexible. If people were interested, there's no reason why we can't do an inner child stuff. But at some stage, we can look at it because there's. Do you know what I mean? We can include that because actually, inner child can come into why there can be communication problems.
Yeah, because I think that when you're a child, actually, you're more open to communication
Yeah.
Yeah.
with angels and everything, and then we lose it when we get older. So I think that actually it's good if you get in touch. Maybe you can ease your communication. You can get a little bit of that back.
Mm.
I think as you get older, you're expected to conform, like because you're getting older and older. How grown-ups are, and grown-ups are very different to how children. Children are generally innocent.
Well, it's also to do with that that invisible friend, that friend.
Yeah.
That, you know, after a while you sort of learn that you're not supposed to have your friends anymore, your invisible friends, you know, who everybody is kind of condescending towards, isn't it? And who, pardon?
My mum says I had one.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
does the inner child become more evident when you're raising children, for example? You know, you can either communicate adult to adult, or, you know, you end up communicating. Eric Byrne wrote a very good book on the, accessing our inner child, especially. And he used parenting as a very good example of how you react to your child who misbehaves, for example. You can react on a child level, you know, now look what you've made me do, you know. Or you can say, you know, why did you do that as an adult to the child, you know. There's levels of communication.
Yeah.
It's an interesting subject, you know.
Yeah.
But
And
in terms of Archangel Gabriel, I never heard it. He was involved to that effect with children and the inner child, so I'm interested to learn more.
I think.
yeah, but I mean, you know, but that's interesting because I think what happened is he's well known for being with, I think, for children. But he then said to me, oh no, so then I'm very good with inner child work. I think that was a communication we had quite a while ago. And so him and I had in relation to that, to do with that. So, but shall we move on? Calm down. I get Anil to calm down sometimes because he gets quite excited. Will those be from the last one? So we can have a look. Who here would be interested in maybe looking at inner child?
What are the benefits of doing inner child work? Like, is it so you can relate to kids, or is it to relate?
No, it's to do with yourself. It's to do with looking at, because it often helps you to uncover kind of blocks in areas that you have within your life now.
Okay.
It's to do with blocks that we have in our lives now, and it's to do with kind of healing stuff. And healing the inner child can help us to move forward now.
Sorry, I was just saying to Sarah. No, she was asking me if I wanted a headache tablet, and I said, no, I'm feeling fine now, thank you.
Okay. Well, it's just a bit chaotic.
It links very well to creativity, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, it does.
Painting and
I
drawing.
mean, yeah, it's all one and the
Childhood.
same, really.
Yes. Well, we'll have a look and see. We can all chat at lunchtime and see how we kind of will feel and things. Anyway, so we've got that aspect that lots of you didn't know. Now, what are the other areas that Gabriel helps us with?
To move forward, if you're stuck, or to know what the next move is, not next step.
Is he good for putting you on the right path? Or something? I read something like that about him. You know, if you're a bit stuck as to where you're going in your life, is he one of the?
Well, yeah. So you're tying in together. So he can be good for the right and sort of for the next step and for sort of new beginnings, for vibrationary change. So when kind of like, when the energy feels a bit, when everything needs a bit of shaking up. It's kind of when everything's a bit stale. It's all a bit dusty. It's all a kind of a bit sticky, the energy, and it all needs a bit of a spring clean. Yeah, good time for us to have this workshop, really, isn't it? And we need to kind of like, we feel like we need a bit of a change, and we may need to kind of start a slightly different path. We may need a new beginning. We may need to kind of go up another level. We may need a new steps, new beginnings, new ventures, new adventures. And he can help us with new ventures as well. It's not like Michael was kind of your life path. It's not that. It's kind of aspects and new ventures and things within it, which is slightly different. Yeah.
I read it can help with intuition as well, right?
Yeah, he does. He helps kind of us with our kind of like our intuition, our psychic abilities to interpret our visions and dreams, obviously.
Because that's all communication.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Gabriel gets you to recognise your own skills or talents, or to help you draw it out of yourself.
Yeah.
So you can see because everyone's got some kind of divine purpose, but what's inside of you to get it out and make use of those skills or talents or gifts that you may have locked up deep inside.
Yes, because you have your life path, and within your life path you've got your gifts or talents or the ways you're going to express it, your unique way of expressing it. And Gabriel can kind of show you what are the ways you should express it, your individual kind of way of kind of expressing or showing it or bringing it out. Because communication is lots of ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's literal communication. As how can we literally express kind of clearly? And I mean, who do we have the main trouble expressing with? Do you reckon?
Ourselves?
Yes. I mean, really, the person who we're the most dishonest with is ourselves generally, isn't it? Because often we don't want to necessarily be honest because we're worried about hurting others, aren't we? But through it, it causes us lots of problems if we're not honest. It can be quite hard to be honest at times, can't it, to ourselves and to others? And it's kind of finding that way to kind of come from that heart, so what Gabriel can do is to help us to really find that way to have that truth with ease and joy.
Find yourself.
Yeah, but to do it with real joy.
Okay.
To have that kind of truth, but with ease, joy, and flow. So kind of with courage, with courage. But it's to kind of so that we can really express it clearly. This is me not expressing it that clearly. But to really have that clarity in the way we express it to ourselves and to others, and to really express from the heart, and to really understand our heart. So it's kind of really go into our heart, which can be and it can take time, can't it? It's kind of can be like that onion unpeeling itself.
But Gabriel is quite versatile. There's a multitude of things that Gabriel can help you with. Because in the perspective said, if you're working in television, in broadcasting or writing.
But that's just the creative side.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry.
But this is about so there's also the creative side. Of course, the creative side is vast, isn't it? Who here works in creative jobs? So yeah. Who defines a creative job? Teaching. I tutor here. That's kind of like one of them. But like whether it's teaching, but who does things at home? Who does writing or drawing or anything like that at home? Does anyone here do stuff like that?
Dancing. I do dance.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's creative.
Latin.
Oh, lovely.
Get some no,
That gets rid of lots of
yeah, negative energy and stuff.
recommended actually.
Is music to do with Gabriel?
Yes,
Music,
absolutely.
film.
Yeah. I want you to be silent for 10 minutes if possible.
We're going on break soon.
Actually, let's go on a break and we'll continue this after break. But after break, you have to be silent
Yeah,
for
we
a
do
period of time.
meditations. Of course, I'm going to be silent. I'll be good.
And there, we thought you'd cut the cords last time.
Yeah, I worked on my throat chakra, you see, to express. I'll talk for a bit.
Okay, but let's briefly finish before we go on the break. But I want you to be quiet while we briefly finish. Okay? Creative. Okay, so creative. So also a lot to do with creativity. But creativity is all the things we're saying, isn't it? It's dance. It's music. It's the art. You know, it's the arts. It's if anyone who likes to do poetry at home. You know, play music, listen to music, go to arts. You know. Enjoy art, enjoy dance, theatre, anything like that.
Amanda, did you see the Horizon programme?
No, I didn't see it.
It was about creativity and they were imaging it in the brain. But they were looking at sort of moments of, like flashes of insight, moments of inspiration.
Yes.
It's here on the right brain. And they said there was sort of like a burst of gamma waves at the moment of insight.
Insight. And you can have insight for any job, can't you? So you could have a desk job and you could have insight. You can do business and you have insight. You know, all the people, you know, whatever job you do, you have insight. You know, if you're a pharmacist, you must need insight for certain things. You know, whatever the job is, you know, you need insight within it, don't you? I mean, what jobs do you do?
I'm a lawyer.
Well, you must need insight for lots of aspects within your job,
Yeah.
which needs creativity.
Creativity.
Law is that creative.
What aspect of law do you do?
I do corporate law, so I like property and company commercial. So it's probably the least creative aspect of law. But yes, I like the people.
But you know, you might go home. You might, you know, lots of people are into making little cakes at home, aren't they? I mean, you know, that's creativity. There's all different aspects, but often within the work, whatever it may be, you know, I was running a small charity at one stage, which was lots of administration, funding forms, but you know, you need your kind of inspiration, insight. How am I going to what am I going to do to get my funding to make my application better than other people's? That's all forms of creativity.
Do you know, I never regarded my career as an occupational therapist, which I just
That would be creative.
Yeah, I mean,
Very creative.
You had to be creative in order to work with the disabled and adapt their homes so that they were independent within their homes. So yeah, I mean, but that's why I have a great admiration for those who use the left side of their brain, because mine closed down at birth, my left side. You know, I don't feel I have any ability on the left side of my brain at all. It's all in the right.
I'm like that.
You know, logic. I don't regard myself as very logical. And when it comes to numbers and figures, I think, wow, you know, I must have been behind the door when that was being given out.
Language is left brain, no?
Yeah. Yes, it is. But I'm no good at languages either.
No, I mean just language.
No,
English language.
yeah.
You know, your own language.
Yeah. Anyway. Sure.
But life is a creation. We're constantly creating our life, aren't we?
I think you're actually quiet.
No, that's a good point. It's, you know, give some ideas, because that's why we're here.
Yes.
Life's working, isn't it?
You're not doing very well with this quiet thing, are you?
No.
Gabriel's talking to me, so tell me.
I know. I know.
Gabriel's
I know. I know. Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's not doing very well with quiet, is it? No.
He agrees though, he says it's a good point.
Yeah, it is. See, I want to talk to you about this.
No.
So I've got to express.
Anil. Yeah. Communication is also about knowing when to be quiet.
Yeah, if you're not talking rubbish, but you've got a valid point, you should.
We need a scarf.
When we do meditation soon after our cups of tea. I've woken up, you see, because I didn't sleep at all, and I was like, really up.
It's kind of
I'm woken up now. I can't breathe.
Anyway, let's have 15-minute break. And when we come back,